That was 89. And she looked great. I think, you see some familiar faces here. We have here Sandy Dow, who's probably one of her biggest rivals. I believe that looks like it's Laura Craval here. That's El Mars. I remember her. She, you have the late Jack Lee Priestley, and also very in here we have um, Bev Francis. And Bev was this is like during the time when Bev was kind of be trying to be more feminine, and then she decided that last Olympia in '91 decided to come in her top unbelievable condition. You know, but yeah, that was the classic look of women's bodybuilding. And I think if you talk to some maybe older competitors, they would say they were a big fan of Corey Evans. She had a great look to her, a great style about her. She, like I said, she did a lot of the magazines and covers. And, this is her with her son, because, you remember I said again, she later on adopted her and her husband, her second husband, because her first husband was Jeff Everson. Jeff passed away about a few years back. And this is her son. He also had a daughter, they adopted them. And Corey got to be now in her, can you believe it? She's in her, I think, early 60s, mid 60s. And she still looks in good shape. I mean, for a woman her age, you know, you wouldn't think it, but the thing about the biting lifestyle, even though it's extreme, there is some benefits to it, and she looks in good shape. I mean, could she get on the stage again? No. No, I think she's done. Her competitive years are done. She's focused on life. Some say that she was kind of like, if you compare any of the male bodybuilders of the time, I think someone will put her right up against someone like Arnold. Very popular, great muscles. Here she is with Kevin Sorbo from the series Hercules Legendary Journeys. Remember his character Olympia. You should watch that show. You should like to watch that show. And here she is from the classic era. Just great look to her, great femininity. If she was competing today with that physique, I think she'll probably do well in figure. I would say figure, not physique, not women's bodybuilding, probably figure, because you look at the girls in figure now, they're not too far from the women of that era. You know, like here, this is a little, I think it's a little video she posted here. With the heart stuff like that. I mean, if someone I would say who currently might share that kind of physique that she has, I would say Jessica Ray Padilla or a couple other ladies in the figure division, or even someone like Mrs. Trescott. But even those figure competitors are surpassing the women from the era of women's bodybuilding, you know. And Corey was just amazing. He was a fan of her. She had a great look to her. I remember I used to have uh, it was a poster of her as Marilyn Monroe. You know, it was on my wall ahead of my bed, you know. But, she was just an amazing woman. She really, I think, brought both femininity and also muscularity to the sport. I think things changed after she retired. We have here some people here in the comments section. Shout out to my man Chris Smith says, love me some Court Houston. Had the hots for her. I mean a lot of guys did. Also, this is from man War 2000. Lord Cravel was my knockout favorite back in the day. Also was the really holding Kevin Sorbo over her head in Hercules Journey show, or was that harness? It was probably a harness. I knew Corey was strong, but not that strong. I think Kevin Sorbo was a heavy dude. Remember back then, Kevin State had to get in shape because you see him now, he's not like he used to be. He had to get in shape. And remember, this is true story. Kevin Sorbo was going to play, Superman in the Lois and Clark series. He tried out for that role, but they went with Dean Cain. I don't know. I think to me, I always felt like Dean Cain was too, Dean Cain's half Asian. To me, he just looked too Amerasian to be Superman. I mean, I just didn't like that version of Superman. I mean, maybe it's like a bit of prejudice, but yeah, I'm going to say that. Yeah, I think Kim Sewell would have been good because he had a deeper voice. He was a lot taller. I think I could saw him as Superman, but my guess the producers want to go a different route, so that's why they went with Dean Cain. This is from my man. Warrior 2000 says Corey Eveson would have made great She-Hulk next to Luke Ferrigno. They made it that way. Yeah, I think they could have. I mean, or that, or Richard Lesh. Richard had a darker hair. They could have done that. You got to find the right actress to play. Because the series didn't go by the comics. Like one thing was, you know, the story of David Banner, how he became the Hulk, which is always different. Like you go by the comics, he was like by a gamma explosion, but then he was experimenting himself because he wanted to tap into inner strength that man had. Because remember in these old series, his wife died in an accident, he couldn't save her, you know, and that's the reason why he became a scientist and a doctor because his mother died, and it was just remember that when he went back to visit his family, and they found he was still alive. But it could have been possible if they did it right. But back then it wasn't about so much about what was the comics, but just about what they want to put out there. Like why they used the name David instead of Bruce, in the series, because the whole thing with David and Goliath was very popular. This is from a man, Curtis L. Jr. He says, Curtis, Teen Lock was one of my favorites, but she disappeared. I wonder what happened to her. I mean, she was really hot. I said, well, yeah, she's kind of like, I would call her the Bobby Fischer of female bodybuilding. She had a great look to her, very feminine, great lines, and then she just disappeared. I mean, I remember the last time I saw her was episode of the show Charles. Remember Charles Perez? He was at talk show. He used to come on, back in the day, and she was on there with another female bodybuilder, and there were people in comments, and then no more. I think after that, she just kind of disappeared. There was rumors saying she was working for this person, that person. That'd be great if somebody out there who knows her, who recognizes her, I would love to have her on, interview her, and get why she disappeared. I mean, what could she have been if she became a pro? But back to Corey Everson. Corey she did pretty well after bodybuilding. She did some movies, TV shows. She did a couple of, like, one of the biggest movies I said again was the movie, Double Impact with Van Damme, where she played the bodyguard. She fought the other twin, Alex. Was it Alex? Was it, I think it was, which one? Yeah, it was one that, the one with the slick back hair. She fought him and she killed him. And then bunch of TV shows and specials. She was on the episode of Home Improvement, the Renegade with Wiz Lamas, her sister Cameo, who also competed. The Cameo did like fitness for a bit. Bunch of TV shows, movies over her career, and that was pretty good. She was really, outside of her Richmond profession, probably the most crossover successful former Miss Olympia champions. Most women don't get that opportunity to get the chance to do big screen TV and movies, because society does not like the idea of women with muscle. It's kind of, an offense to them. But like I said, she's also her politics. Not a big fan of. I follow on social media. But I'm not a big fan of her politics. But that's the thing. Everybody has their rights. But sometimes people really research who you put your faith behind. Honestly. But she was just an amazing woman. I mean, so that said, still a fan. Here we hear a comment. This is from my man. Shout out to my man, War 2000. Remember Christy Hawkins? She was one of the youngest bodybuilders in the early 2000s, but then she disappeared and stopped competing. Yeah, I remember Christy. Christy, a while back there was a thing where she posted something in her IG. I think she hit in the stories, like she was like updating her Ivy Pro card certification. So you got to always get pay your card fees so you can keep your cards updated so you want to compete. I don't know if she ever was going to do it, but she does a lot of powerlifting now. She also runs a little some kind of bio medical company now. But I was thinking that I thought she was going to try to compete. That was back in 2023. She said it was going to be 2024. But that'll be something for her because I think she's now in her mid 40s now. It'd be something for her to come back. Do women's bodybuilding. I think I could see her do that. She was amazing. She's kind of like one of those ladies that had great um great physique. This is from my man Ward says Ava Mileto structure reminds me of Christy Hawkins. Yeah. And she's not. She's about the same age as Christy. I mean, I think she got her first Olympia around about 25. Also, when I said words is when you say you don't agree with Corey Cox, you're saying she's conservative Republican. Yes, she is. She is. So like I said, I don't agree with some of their politics. You have the right to believe that, but the fact is, we know in this country, both parties, there's a two-party system. That's just a fact of it. And sometimes the one-party system will be saying less government, but then you're the ones giving more money to the rich people, and then the other party say, well, let's be more open, yeah, yeah. Then it's just, but sometimes you got to pick the side. That's how I feel. And that's what happened with the situation. People didn't want to pick a side, and now we have a mess. So we're gonna try to survive over the next 4 years. Cross your fingers. But enough about Corey. And I say I'm a fan of Corey, but another lady who is truthfully, she broke Corey's record. Actually, she tied Corey's record, from 90 to 95. She was the sixth time Miss Olympia champion. She tied Corey's record, for six, but later on she broke it with two more, and that is Miss Linda Murray. And Linda Murray, amazing lady, and I think her birthday's coming up next month. Just top competitor. She got the title fresh right after Corey Everson retired. I mean, and this is from 2002. Remember the pump room video, guys? We used to love those. Recording the women backstage. Her body was just amazing. I think this is where her peak. Come back after 5 years. After her last shot, Miss Olympia was 97 when she lost back to back, 96, 97. She took some time off. Even one point, I remember I saw a picture of her. She was actually trying out for wrestling, but nothing happened on that. There was one story, I don't know if it was true or not, that she was trying to have a baby with her husband, but then it didn't happen. I think she had a miscarriage. And then she been, for that few years, I think she was just living her life. And then I think like any champion, you want to come back and take another shot. 2021 was 2000s was really, we almost didn't have Olympia in '99, but then they was able to save it in the last minute. I think it had two shows. It was Miss Olympia and the Muscle Extravaganza, same show. And that was 90. If you know, '99 was the last Olympia for Kim Javesky. But I wasn't a big Linda Murray fan. I'll be honest with you. Wasn't a big fan of hers, but I did love her physique. She had an amazing body, great look, great femininity. I mean, she was a dominant force. And now, even though she is no longer competing, she's still working behind the scenes. She's a promoter. She does commentary. She's working with Wings of Strength and also the Olympia TV. And remember, she was the film Flex Friday was her and Alina for a good while. Now it's her, Wendy Jones, the other chick, and and Whitney Fortino. And this lady, like I said, I had the pleasure of seeing her. When I went to Savannah back in 2022, and up close and personal, you wouldn't think of this lady in her 60s. You wouldn't believe it. Here, this is from a classic, Now that was amazing. That was posing. Back then, even though in 2000 it did started the you had the Miss Olympia, you had the Olympia weekend, and that started. And then here, this is from another one from her era. I gotta be careful. I don't know if they'll let me play because it's not really copyright. I don't think because it's her. I think it's her own music. You know how YouTube is. This is from, I believe, got to be right about 90, yeah, 95. And that was the last time she was the champion because she lost title in 96. And just this is, I think, this is what they want women's physique to look like. This is what I have often heard that they want to go back to something like Linda Murray, more like this version of Linda Murray in the 90s. This is what they want to go back to, but the problem is you can never go back to what it used to be. It's like I said, once you pop that genie out of the bottle, it's not going to be the same. But Linda just had amazing style, great look to her. Like I said, wasn't a big fan, but she had a beautiful body. I think she has a beautiful body. But really, what she has done over the years, stuff she's done working with Wings of Strength and Jake Wood, and promoting her shows. Remember one time she had Savannah, and there was also I think she had Savannah and Norfolk. She had two shows in Virginia, Savannah and Norfolk. But then Norfolk is gone and Savannah's gone. Now she just has Atlanta. But if I was somebody and if I had a means, I would love to bring back one or two of those shows, either Savannah or Norfolk, and put a name on it. I would, if I could, I would make Linda like a brand like Arnold. Grits and around her. But Linda is an amazing lady. Her body was just, right here. It's a little like a diagram of somebody, did of her physique. Wait a minute, that's the wrong one I pushed. That's her in the last interview. She interviewed wait a minute, where's that? Oh, I must have give me a second, folks. There we go. And here it is. And you can see how they took in just all her aspects of her, from glutes to her arms, from under armpit, her calves. This is really a mold. I mean, this woman really just had one of the most amazing bodies during her career, And like I said, I know a while back her and her husband got divorced. Here she is with Shannon Sharp, and 8-time Olympia Lee Haney. That was her counterpart. Like how Coy and Arnold, you had Lee and Linda, and they were still competing at the same time. Because Lee was still Mr. Olympia. I think he retired around about, I think it was 92, 93, 90. I think it was 90 by the time he retired, but they were still competing about the same time. And here she is, some legends you have here. Sid Young, 8-time champion. You have here Linda, you have here Andrea, and you have here Iris, who we'll get to her in a bit. Long before we get to her. And those ladies have really set the standard for the divisions, especially for women in bodybuilding, female bodybuilding altogether. Here, we have here some comments. This is from my man. Yeah, it's from man. Stefan Priest. Welcome, Stefan, coming through. He says, so is Kevin Serbo. He says like that. Yeah, I heard about him too. Yeah. I heard about him too. So I don't care. He's nobody to me. Also, Linda Murray, the GOAT. Yes, she is the GOAT. She's one of the greatest of all times. Also, we have Linda Murray, beautiful woman back then and still beautiful now. Chris, yeah, she is lovely. I mean, I remember I was while in Savannah I was sitting in the VIP section, and I was taking like little pictures and she was trying of the show, and she smiled at me. I would love to have talked to her, but I know she was busy because she was promoting that show, and that's why I'm hoping if I can get the opportunity, go to Atlanta this year. Guys, if you look into my line here, I have my PayPal, I have my Venmo, and also have my GoFundMe. So if you want to donate to me, help me out a little bit. I mean, I can really use it because just like I said, most of the pay my niece to pick me up and take me back home, and to cover my tickets and the other costs. Just sometimes it's nice to have a little change. This is from my man Chris. He says. She was backstage at the 2002 Miss Olympia with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and when she flexed, Stephanie's eyes widened, and she looked like she wanted to touch her. It was funny. Also, from my man Chris again, he says, "LOL, she wanted to cop a feel of Linda. Who wouldn't? Yeah, who wouldn't? Also, I believe it was the Linda Murray DVD you can purchase on download it from GMV. Yeah, that's a Global Muscle Video. I think that are they still active, Chris? Because those they had a lot of the great videos and shows back in the day. Linda Murray had chairman charm, charisma, charm, beauty, personality, sass, presentation, and beautiful symmetrical lines. My favorite bodybuilder of all time. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Also, this is from Chris. He says, Linda robotic Terminator routines is second best to Vince Taylor. And that's something I heard her talk about earlier this week. It was talking about him maybe coming back and competing at the Masters Olympia this year. Also, this is from my man. He says 195, 96, 202 to 203 had elements of the robotic Terminator type movement, which was so badass and cool. Yeah. And also, this is from a man says, yes, Chris, he's agreed with you, Chris, World War 2000. And also, he says, Laura Craven and Linda Murray were rivals going back and forth, but Linda came out on top. Yeah, kind of like that's true. Because that's kind of like that. I think Linda Murray and Laura Craven were the biggest rivals. Kind of like with Sandy Riddell and Corey Everson. Because everybody almost had their own rivalry, And then when as you know, Lord did come back. I think 2001, but she was kind of the shade of herself. She lost a lot of muscle because she had competed in 2000 in 1999. Took like at least 3 years, 2 to 3 years off after that. She came back in 2001 and she was competing in women's bodybuilding lightweight. And she was just not the same Laura Craval. I mean, she just lost a lot of size. I mean, still was a fan of hers, but she just wasn't the same Laura that I followed, But I understand that. Was it? Wait a minute. I think I corrected 2002 George at the Olympia. Lloyd came back. Okay. Oh, thank you. I thought it was 2001. Now, yeah, it was 2002. Thank you, Chris, for putting that. And yeah, she wasn't the same Laura Craval. I think often there was always that story about her boob job. How it always kind of slide off to the side. It was really weird. They often call her implants probably the worst set. Because I don't know how they did it. I think she either put them over the muscle or is it under the muscle? It's one of those ones where if you put it over the muscle, I think you give that bulge. If you look at some of the women now, like you look at like someone like Lavinia Barros, how hers are like they really stick out. They really and look at some others like one of them really cool with Andrew Sauer, how hers kind of slide off to the side a bit. This is for a man says, so Juliet Bergman, Laura Craval, Linda Murray all came back at the two. Actually, Chris, you got to remember, he says Miss Olympia, three legends. Actually, remember, Chris, Juliet came back in 2001 and she won the title because you remember 2000 they split the title. Instead of just saying, okay, let's have one Miss Olympia, they had lightweight Miss Olympia that was Andrew Bachette, and they had heavyweight Miss Olympia, Valentina Chapigin. Then Juliet came back because she competed for almost, I think, 12 years. I think it was 10 or 12 years, not since the 80s. She came back, competed, won the title. And I think they didn't want to give it to, Vicky Gates because I think, Juliet was competing in the women's lightweight and Vicky Gates was probably competing in the women's heavyweight. Was it Vicky Gates or was it? Was it? No, no. I think she was up against Linda Murray. No, no, no. Iris Kyle. I'm trying to remember. Was she up against Iris Kyle for the overall title, or was it Vicky Gates? No, 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 no. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I think it was Iris Kyle because I think Vicky Gates. That was her last Miss Olympia. I think it was 2000 or 2001 was Vicky Gates' last Miss Olympia. After that, because she was always one of those ladies. I think she could have been. I feel like this. I honestly felt either should have gave to her in 2000 or 2001, but we all know politics and stuff is going on. You know, but these critics say, "Oh yes, I know that Juliet came back in 2001 and won the. She's was looking amazing, yeah." But there's always debate on that. But as we are now going to 2000s, we're going to talk about the lady who really transmogrified women's bodybuilding. And she came in here, remember she actually, her first Olympia was in 99, but I don't think she was in the top 10 because I think it was only 12 competitors, but she was top 10 competitor, at that show. And that is Iris Kyle. And Iris has been a dominant force now, even though some people didn't like her because of the fact it's her look and that thing. But the thing is, the judges were the ones who were placing her in these shows. If you feel like she was looking a certain way, then that those last two, so wait a minute, he says, you skipped Kim Zaveski. I mentioned her, but the fact was, this is about the dominant champions. This is no offense to Kim Zaveski, and reason why I mentioned, I talked about it a little bit, but I'm not going to go in detail about her because the fact is, again, she came back in 2000 and did fitness and did figure. To me, this is what thing that kind of penalized me about Kim Zaveski. She could have just took in retirement. If she was gonna come back women's bodybuilding, you know. And you're the one who changed the look and the aspects of women's body. That's why they put in the 20% rule because of Kim Zaveski. People blame the Irish, but truthfully, the blame also goes to Kim Zaveski. Truthfully, that's it. I mean, they could have gave the title to Yolanda Hughes back in '98, but they didn't. They gave it to Kim Zaveski again, and you go by the criteria what they were looking for in judging. So that's why I did talk about it a little bit. Chris, you can go back and check it, but this is mostly about dominant wins. She only has 4 titles, while Corey has 6. Linda has 8. Iris has 10, and right now, Andrea just pushed her out with 1. We're having 5. So yeah. And shout out to my man Warrior Creamy says, that is true, George. Thank you, brother. Thank you. One of these Warrior, you gotta come on here, brother. My guess everybody else is just usually I have my usual suspects, but my guess everybody's doing their own thing. No offense to y'all. This is just, but you know what? I don't get a chance to sit and talk with y'all guys this often and try to find a subject to talk about. I think there's always something in bodybuilding we can talk about. But you guys, you know my social media platforms. You know my IG. I have 2. This one I use for my computer because I forgot it's my first IG and I forgot the password, so I don't have it on my phone, so I use it on my computer. So if y'all want, y'all can go to that IG. If you can find it, I'll leave the link. You can leave me a comment and maybe make me a suggestion of what you want to see me do next time, or go to my other IG, my All the Way George page, the main one I usually use. And let me know what you want me to talk about, because this is why I do it for you guys. But going back to Iris Kyle, she was a dominant champion. As you know, Iris won the title in 2003, and she beat Linda Murray. She lost to Linda Murray, I think, in 2002, because I think it was her and Linda Murray for the first time. And people wanted to go with Linda, but then Iris, she just came in better condition that next year, and then now she won the title, but then she lost the title to Xenia King in 2004. And there's always a debate, maybe should have kept the title stay with Youngzini, but I guess the judges like Iris more. Here she is. Iris runs her own gym with her partner, Hideki. And Iris is in her, can you believe it, in her 50s, I think. And, she looks still in great shape. As you know, back in 2015, she wanted to come back. I think 2015, 2016, when they started the Rising Phoenix. But this it gave some excuse saying that, oh, you have to compete in the show, but she was the 10-time Miss Olympia. So why, to me, that was unfair. You know, and a lot of people, a lot of people really respect Iris. She has some people don't like her. My man Keith, he has made comments about her, but that's Keith. Yes, I respect my brother, but still, this woman really has changed the face. Her partner Hideki here, Hideki, he was the men's classic master champion 2023, and now they're also promoting the upcoming Masters Olympia. As you know, Masters O. That's gonna be originally was gonna be the end of I won't correct myself because I said October my last live stream, but it's gonna be at the end. It was originally gonna be the end of August, but now it's gonna be around the first week of August. I don't know why they moved the date, and it's the same about the same time as the Texas and Tupelo Pro. So this is why I hope that either Tupelo needs to move itself. Some competitors you might want to do Texas, gonna miss out, you know. Here she is, Alcione Barrio. She's been working with her for quite a bit. Alcione was, top 3 at the 2023 Olympia, but then she's now next to the bottom. And I know she still works with Alcione, But, Iris, she's still a businesswoman. She's very passionate about the sport bodybuilding. She was there to help pass out the trophies, last year at Olympia. I think, and a lot of, and then, I know Marika Jones got to hang out at her at her at her gym. And, like I said, she's still in great shape. I mean, people may not have liked Iris that much, but really, I think she's really has become a real um representative of women's body. Even though she wanted more recognition, but they didn't give it to her. I understand you want to make money. One thing I didn't like her doing was doing shows like Miss International. And what happened was her competed at that show multiple times. You know, you wanted, Miss International was a great secondary title for anybody coming up who want, hey, you knew whoever was champion at the time. You knew you weren't going to beat Linda. You knew you weren't going to beat Corey. You may not even beat Kim or Iris. But then she comes along, and I think that would probably, in a way, kill the title because you have the, multiple-time Miss Olympia champion winning multiple times. Around that time that year, I think it was 2011, 2012, I think, was 2012, no, 2007. I want to get that right. 2007, when she competed and she had got, put out of the top 5. And there was always a controversy about her and the little bit of zit on the butt. And she had an amazing physique. I mean, this is like about 2014, I believe, right here, this picture. And, she was just a dominant champion. I remember I reached out to her about doing an interview. And she told me that, well, she's on a contract and she can't do interviews outside of that. But I posted stuff on my social media. She has commented on it. I would love to do an interview with her, get her thoughts about how the sport has changed, how it's evolved over the years, what she sees, there's somebody she's a fan of that she sees now, that kind of someone who in a way kind of remind her herself, I might get every now and then I might get somebody say, yeah, they're a fan of Iris, but not as much because everybody's more a fan of maybe Daniel Bailey is often mentioned, Linda's mentioned, and also Kim Zabesky, every now and then. But generally, it's mostly either Linda or Daniel Bailey. Those are the 2 most popular ones, and Andrea Shaw. Okay, I love Andrea, but she has really made a career bodybuilding, made her money. I think I would love to do if I could do it. I would love to have her put a name on the show, make her a promoter. I mean, I know she's doing the Masters Olympia, but I would love to do a show, kind of like where'd be the best place to do it? Uh, you know, Florida needs more shows for women's bodybuilding. You only got Tampa Pro. I would love to do a show in Florida or here in North Carolina. I saw on the list there was supposed to be the Charlotte Pro, but that's off the list. They dropped it. So, and I was thinking about going there because I'm close to Charlotte. Maybe renting a car and staying there a couple of days. It'd be easy for me to go back and forth. Charlotte's a lot closer, but now it's not on the list anymore. So that's why I'm thinking about doing Atlanta or Keith offered to fly me out because him and Tina planning to do Chicago. And I might take that, just they pay for my flight, the tickets, and then just have some pocket change, you know. Yeah, if he's serious about it, Keith, too bad you're not on here, usual brother. If you're serious about it, I'll be happy to ride out with you and fly out to Chicago and watch you and Tina to see y'all together. Um, this is from my man Warrior 2000 says, I know you are waiting to get to Andrea, your girl, so go ahead and lay all the details on Iris. Well, I know that. Also, he says, I heard a rumor and gossip about Iris that she's not a nice person. Well, I heard that too, but then, that's sometimes way people treat you, sometimes you treat. But if she wasn't that nice person, people like Maria Lieberman wouldn't say she's a great person, or people like she wouldn't work with somebody like Alcione Barrito. I mean, like I said, she when it comes to and she all opens her gym when you have that Olympia weekend, especially since it's back in Vegas. She opens her gym free to competitors, not just the women, all competitors. So that's maybe a rumor about her, her about it. And I think my man, Warrior Believer says, yeah, I don't believe the gossip and rumors. That's true. I wouldn't believe it too. Also, my Warrior says, I think Iris is just very intense when it comes to what she does. She's strict and very formidable when it comes to being a bodybuilder. Yes. But one thing I said, yes, I would love to do this. You know, she's mostly in Vegas, and I don't know, it'd probably be cheaper to do it someplace else. Um, Maybe do a show with her name on it and have her be the promoter. Just pay up everything, like cover the cost of the prize money and stuff like that. What divisions would I like to have? Most definitely women's bodybuilding. Uh, well, let's give Zeke a chance, and also figure. And well, you can have one of the other either bikini or wellness. I'll lean towards wellness a little bit more. And you got to have one of the banana hammock boy shorts division. So we'll go 212 and men's classic. So and we have it. We call it the Irish Kyle, extravaganza. Good prize money. I mean, was it make it one of the biggest prize monies for women's bodybuilding outside the Olympia? I would say from you got to pay the guys a good chunk of change. So let's say $30,000 for men's 212 and men's classic. I mean physique, and then for women's bodybuilding it's $20,000. $20,000 for physique, $15,000 for figure, and let's $10,000 for wellness. What happens, I think I don't know, Wolfpack is still doing that. They were putting up the money so the prize money for shows that had wellness. So they might put up another few $1,000s added to it. So that's what I would love to do. If I could, reach out to Iris, say, hey, we'll take care of everything. We just want you there as the figurehead and the face. We're doing this with you and Linda. Linda's gonna get another show, and then I would love to talk to someone like uh 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 Vicky Gates and do a show in Texas also. Hey, not doing solo today, folks. We got my man here, KL the
I
Wanderer.
can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
I'm on my tablet. I'll come back. I'll come back because
Uh,
my tablet be acting up sometimes.
all righty, we give you a minute. Come back. Always some with technology, folks. But anyway, I think Iris would be. I know people, pull a lot of shit against Iris, But the thing is, if you're a dominant champion like she was, and I wish that Winnie Strength would have gave her a chance to compete. I think that's what the one thing Winnie Strength didn't want her to overtake the opportunity for anybody in the Rising Phoenix, and that's why they went the way they went. I understand the business sense of it, but still, give him a second here. Here he is.
Yeah, you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, not loud enough. I don't know. This my tablet be acting funny, man. I don't know. I got it. I was thinking about put the computer, but I was like, but the link. I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah, I'm
I
thinking
thought
about
you
going.
had more people here. I don't know what happened.
Well, no, no. Like I said, this Monday. It's a holiday. Most people probably spend the time doing something else. So I can't fault them. So that's we're if it's just you and me. That's cool. We're here
Uh,
talking already. We already went through some of the three ladies. Just got finished talking about Iris Kyle, and the next person we're gonna talk about. Guys. You know who I'm going to talk about.
Andrea,
I can't hear. I
Andrea.
can't hear. She is right now the top in the sport of bodybuilding for women. I mean, to me, I know some people may say I'm sexist of her, but you know what? She's really and truthfully, she saved women's bodybuilding when she won the Miss Olympia title. They could have went with somebody else, like it was either Helen Cavino or Margie Martin. But I think it was honestly to me, it was a good move to go with. And she did come in, and honestly, just she come in her best shape, best condition, and also I keep saying about this woman, she is remarkably just beautiful. Just you cannot deny that. Her beauty just makes her really just she's awestruck. I'm just and Andrea originally started out in figure, and she's one of the only women who won Miss Olympia that's who started from other divisions. Because all the other Miss Olympias have always been women's bodybuilding. Back in the day, remember there was that many divisions. By the 80s and 90s.